Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shifting Tones, the podcast with nerdy tones and shifting formats. I'm today's host, Steph, and I am joined by my lovely co host, Sam
Hey, that's me. It's Sam.
and Larissa.
Howza?
Our intros are always so wild. I never know what to expect. But how are you guys today? Let's jump into it. Let's get
Oh,
started.
we're in it. We're in it to win it. Yeah, I'm peachy.
Chi.
Yeah, peachy. It was a busy day. Did a lot of things with work and then things around the house. Been having troubles with our wash tub in the basement, where whenever we do an extra big load of laundry, the drain doesn't drain fast enough, and so it overflowed a little bit, so I had to like bucket it out. It's not too bad because
fun.
thankfully it's in a basement on the laundry side where there's a drain in the floor, so it went down fairly quickly in the floor anyways, but it was just more annoying than anything. However, just like last week, I made a couple bullet points really quick of
Whoa.
yeah, small talk. Okay.
I was gonna say because that adult talk was getting real boring.
I know. All right.
Larissa's like,
So-
nah.
Here are some of my my small talk points. Do you ever look at something and you can just know what the texture of it is based on how it would feel on your tongue?
Of course,
If you look at
it's-
something?
What?
It's human instinct.
Yeah. So like if you look at like a lampshade right now and you're like, I bet if I licked it, I know exactly what it would feel like on my tongue.
No, that thought does not cross my head at all.
No, I know, but all right, look at something right now, Steph, and tell me if you look at it and you were to run your tongue along it, would you be able to tell the texture of it? Like in your mind right now?
Yeah, I could if I really thought about it, but that's just not a thing I think of.
I think
Well,
about it
no.
24/7.
That's crazy.
Keeps me up at night. Other small talk topic thing. Big stars with podcasts. That's something that's been grinding my gears lately. Is
Lately, for
Just
a
in general.
while.
Yeah, in general, it's not a bad thing, but
No.
like to me, big stars, they have movies and music and TV and the big award shows and all that stuff. In podcasting, like the people I really enjoy listening to are usually smaller people. There's a couple like I guess bigger podcasters that I
Mhm.
like to listen to, but not like Hollywood celebrities. And I'm like, you know what? Just stay in your lane, stay in Hollywood. Let us, us little people have this
Wow.
opportunity to, shine.
Shut up and dribble the basketball. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, racist news lady.
No, you're the one who's sounding like that.
Well, yeah, but
Stay in
specifically
your
Hollywood people.
lane.
Yeah, stay in Hollywood. Let us, have an opportunity to, grow.
I do see where you're coming from. It is a little annoying. Like, hey, like, do you really need to like encroach in people's space where it's historically been known for smaller creators to like sort of blossom and develop their own sort of fan base? Like, you already had the big screen. Like, it's almost like you're using a cheat code.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's probably why it feels a little unfair.
Steph, do
But-
you agree?
It's whatever.
I could not care less.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel.
Small talk point number 3. Steph,
Yeah.
too late. You missed your opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Small point talk topic 3. Call of Duty cosplayers are the equivalent like to paramilitary like MAGA people at rallies that like to dress up and like pretend that they're in the military. Like I get the same vibe. I feel like that they're the same type of people. Like out of all the things you could cosplay as, you're like, yeah, I want to wear my bulletproof vest and my my skull mask and walk around and look tough.
Sure.
Bro, your talking points are wild.
I know they're pretty wild.
But hey, they bring a gambit of conversation,
Mhm.
not that only that you guys can chime in on,
Sure.
but the audience can chime on.
Bro, my mouth's agape.
Yes. You have a gape mouth thing.
See, but I will counter your point here. I understand, and I kind of agree with your point about Call of Duty cosplayers.
Are
wouldn't
there
that be
any? Are there any out there? I just have
Yeah,
never
so-
seen that.
Yeah, when
so
we were at
many,
the
Steph.
con,
Oh my goodness.
not only at the like Fan Expo con, but at the gaming con that we were at,
Mhm.
there was people dressing up as like
It's mostly
Call of Duty people. It's like
Or
Aw.
Halo.
such a weird thing to dress up as.
Halo, I get. Halo,
Mhm.
I
I don't know.
get.
I feel like it's
Cortana.
for
Yeah.
I feel like it's for boys who like want to act tough and be in the military, and it's not just boys. Sorry,
no, no,
um,
no, no.
but
It's not.
primarily
Mhm.
that want to dress up and act tough and try to be cool. I mean, you do whatever you do, and some cosplays take more than others, and you probably put time and effort into it.
Sure.
So I'm proud of you for that. But I don't know, you do better.
I will counter your point though, because like yes, we all know that Call of Duty is kind of basic, you know? But if we're thinking of it on that lane, it's just like, oh wow, cool, you want to be a soldier. Like, isn't that the same thing as like dressing up as like a samurai or even like a ninja? Like they're all just warriors.
Yeah, I don't care. It looks lame. So yeah, that's thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is I figured out 2024 is the year of controversial Sam. So oh yeah, I'm
Switching it
ready
up.
for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that was done with my small talk. Sorry, that was a long talk. What about you, Larissa? Keep it short. Come on.
Oh, you kept it pretty fast there. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
You know, not too much has been going on. I'm finally, well, not finally. I went to the doctor. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Ooh.
Woohoo! Healthcare.
And yeah, they're like, sounds like you've got a sinus infection. And I was like,
Boo.
sounds like you're right. So if I'm a little nasally and I still have like a little bit of congested sort of voice, that's why. But you know, I'm on that good old Z-Pack antibiotics, so hopefully a
Nice.
round of that'll heal me up. Cause you know, I was really looking forward to January this year, and it's not January anymore because that's what happens when you're sick.
Yep,
Yeah.
you missed a month.
Yeah. So
We
other
need
than
to
that, I've still been watching Bleach. I watched a few more episodes last night, and oh boy. Now that I'm like closer to where I left off, I'm like, can I just skip this episode? Like, I don't care about this fight. Like, it's just meh. It's still
Wow.
good. Don't get me wrong. It's just like now that I remember more of it, I'm like, I want some fresh content, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Definitely better than One Piece. Yeah.
No, you're wrong for that.
No.
I'm still having a good time watching it.
Oh, I'm sure. What's been the Haps stuff? What's going on?
Yeah. What's the happens?
Yeah, so today was just a hodgepodge of things happening. But let's start with the good news. Good
Yeah.
news is that we got our wedding photos back, and I know
That's
you
right.
might be like,
Ah.
wow, it's been what, 3 months?
10
Yeah,
months.
it's pretty wild, isn't it? The timeline for those
Since
sort of
November,
things.
literally like December. It's 3 months exact, basically, just about
Right.
since we had our wedding. But we got the photos back because we went with just a small not even like it's what is it, small business, like yeah, small
Yes, an
business,
individual.
an individual, just one person for photography. So of course, with
Usually
other
they're called
clients,
sole proprietors, if that's the word you're looking for.
maybe. But either way, I mean, she's the only one that does the photography, and that also
Yeah.
means editing, and she's got other clients. So it took a while. But what was really nice was that on yesterday, actually, in the morning, we got up early and we actually drove to her house.
What?
And she had a little studio inside where she
Whoa.
had a projector, and she made a 15-minute video slideshow of all of our pictures with music. And she provided like coffee, we had donuts and
Wow.
fruit, and it was really nice.
And you weren't murdered.
Yeah, and then she gave us like a little flash drive of all the pictures, and then a little like print thank you gift. So it was
That's
really
so
sweet.
cute.
Yeah, so
But
it was very nice.
yeah. Real quick though, because on my way home I listened to this college radio station, and it's funnily enough when Sam said, "Glad you didn't get murdered." Something like that just happened in like our area where someone went to someone's house for a service, and they're like, "Hold up, wait a minute, actually, you're now at gunpoint."
That's rough.
Yeah, luckily everyone's fine. Like the police came, they broke it up, and I think even both the victim and the perpetrator are in jail. I could have mixed up my story a little bit there, but yeah.
Wow.
And I guess, you know, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is because it was a case scenario of a massage situation. So
Yeah, no, ours was a
back
business.
alleys.
Yeah, no.
But the other thing I had to say was that I just a few hours ago got my COVID vaccine.
Good.
Oh, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, so if I start getting kind of loopy, you'll know why.
Right.
No,
Well, at
it's
least
okay.
don't get the wheel thing.
So far I feel fine.
Good.
But we'll see how the night ends.
Yeah.
Larissa, your audio sounds super like muffled.
Does it? I'm sorry. It's probably
That's
because
good.
I had to switch to a different computer today, guys. So I'm working on some old PC here, not my beautiful, wonderful Mac that everyone seems to make.
Boring.
You sound fine to me. You're good,
Oh,
girl.
thank you, Steph. It also could be my congested voice.
Could be.
So, wow, Sam, ableist.
I'm just
Kidding.
no. I'm just saying. Look at you attacking me for no reason. I'm just saying that it sounded a little muffled, and it sounds like your
Mm.
B's and P's need to be covered up with a foam cover on your microphone, perhaps.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
shifting this conversation
Thank you,
over to
Oh,
something
Steph.
exciting.
The tone has been shifted.
Yeah, no one needs to
Yes.
hear marital squabbles over here.
Exactly. I'm third wheeling here enough as it is. So, we are going to be talking about something that I have loved my entire life.
Mhm.
I've been a big fan of this for a while.
Naruto.
Genre, well, that of course, but this genre I really like is
Yeah.
the zombie genre.
Really?
Oh,
I
that's not
never
something I
would
would
have
have known about
thought.
that. Yeah.
I
No.
really,
No.
I've loved watching. Like I'm not often a movie person, but zombie
Sure.
movies, those I love. I love zombie content. I love zombie movies, video games, that type of
Mhm.
thing. And
Really?
even Larissa with zombie AUs in fan fiction.
That's
I
wild to
That
me.
genre, I love. I adore it. I don't know. There's something about a
Wow.
zombie universe that just
Okay.
like I'm just like, yes. Yes, the tension, the
That's
drama, the
hilarious.
suspense. It's just I don't know, it's so adventurous.
Sure.
This is like one thing I did not know about you.
No.
Really? And you've
I
known me
feel
for like 10 years?
I don't
Right, but
know.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you've never wanted to
No.
watch a zombie movie
Uh-uh.
or do like haunted, what's it called? Like haunted houses with zombies
Mhm.
or play zombies with us, like when we used to play zombies.
Mhm.
Talking about
Um,
Call of Duty, you know.
yeah. Um, did you even watch The Walking Dead stuff?
Yeah, what the heck?
I didn't I tuned into it. I
Sure.
couldn't get into that, but I really liked the Walking Dead video game. I got really into that.
The
Oh, that's
Telltale one.
fun.
Yes, the Telltale with Clementine and
That
Lee.
makes
Nice.
sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that I
Yeah.
got into, not the actual show.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'll
Just
right.
I'll
keeping
just
it a
Well,
little
I'll let it slide.
So,
Yeah.
to start off our little discussion based thing, I
Mhm.
have a couple things that'll guide us, so I will chime in here and there to kind of help
Ooh.
steer our discussion about zombies. But
Okay.
in my hand with me right now, I've had this since I believe 2007 or 2008. This
Oh
book
no.
is initially from 2003, is when the
Wow.
copyright is, from a person you may know, Max Brooks.
Okay.
Do you
No.
know who
Not
this person
familiar.
is?
No.
They were the author of World War Z.
Oh, I have that book.
Oh, how
Hmm.
That is a
fun.
book I have read.
So,
Sam has read 3 books, by the way, guys, just for context.
but this book is not World War Z.
Ah.
This is a different book that he wrote and came out in 2003 called The
Interesting.
Zombie Survival Guide.
Whoa.
Oh, does it look like
I
a
have
beat up
heard about that.
notebook and stuff and
A tiny bit.
it's
That's
like
so
handwritten
cool.
on the front?
No.
Okay, never
Maybe
mind.
something different.
I'm thinking of Ned's Declassified Schools.
Maybe.
Probably.
Or
So
Breakfast Journal, you know.
I kind of figured to get us started on this
Mhm.
book, on the back cover, it gives you top 10 lessons for surviving a zombie attack. And I
That's
kind of
pretty
figured
good.
we start here. And I just want to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
these top 10 because I read them earlier and they made me laugh.
That's
Okay.
pretty great.
All right. So,
Oh.
number one for our top 10 lessons is organize before they rise.
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you don't want to lose your brain. I mean,
So,
literally.
what does that look like to you? Organize before they rise.
Yeah, that looks pretty sounds pretty obvious to me. Like if you're actually worried about a zombie apocalypse or like you're a prepper or something like that, it's in the lines of like, hey, have some food and water in your
Right.
like in your basement or your storage facility or whatever. If you don't have a basement, I don't know, your house.
Mhm.
Have maybe some like batteries ready to go,
Yeah.
walkie-talkies, a CD
Radio.
radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, extra supplies, basically.
Yeah, and a hatchet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
No-
also like barricading, you know, like
Oh yeah, wood to board up your windows. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Number two.
Yeah.
Number two. They feel no fear. Why should you?
Oh, interesting. I don't think I would have thought of it that way. I mean, my instinct is like, oh my goodness, I'm scared, so that's why I'm hunkering down. But I
Mhm.
guess you don't want to let that adrenaline kick in too much because adrenaline, man, that's nasty. Like once you let that get to you, you start freaking out,
Can't
I
think
don't-
clearly.
losing
I don't know.
it.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
fair. I don't think that's a fair point to make.
I
They
know.
don't have
That's
fear,
what they say here.
so why do you? I know, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, they don't have fear because they're technically dead or undead or whatever. Like they don't have a thought process besides like brains or whatever zombie
Sure.
thing you want to go off of. But like, yeah, of course I'm afraid. It's a undead person, which shouldn't exist, coming after me and has already killed X thousands or millions
Sure.
of people. I'm gonna crap a lot of
Right.
pants.
But
My pants, your pants. Yeah.
right.
All
I
right.
mean, a fear-addled brain though is not going to do you any good though. Like you're going to have to like keep focus in order to survive. So you got to like pretend that they don't exist almost. You just got
Better
to like
said than done.
live your daily life. After of course you've like hunkered down. But
Right.
All right. Number 3, use your head, cut off theirs.
Okay, that's
This
pretty
is easy.
obvious
That
too.
means just attach a bunch of saw blades to a helmet and use your head and run at them.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Literally use your head to cut off theirs. Okay,
Yep.
got it. Noted. All right, number 4, blades don't need reloading.
That's funny.
That's I know that's like probably the best one because in
Yeah.
any zombie like apocalypse thing, like I'm always blown away where like, wow, they sure have unlimited ammo. Or
Right.
like they happen to find a lot of ammunition. Like I feel like that's one of those things a lot of people would stock up on right away and wouldn't be
Mhm.
easy to find.
Right.
But yeah, you can just keep sharpening a machete or a hatchet or a
Right.
sword.
Mm-hmm.
Also, talk about like if you were going to try and like infiltrate something, like you would probably want to go to like a military base to get all that sort of ammo. You would think, but fun fact: I just watched a video about the Spanish flu, and the Spanish flu started in military bases in the United States. So that's the last place you're gonna want to be because that's definitely where the zombie outbreak's gonna happen.
Oh.
So definitely pro swords here for the zombie apocalypse.
Sorry, real quick. I always think it's like the funniest trope in any zombie thing is that the military lost to zombies. I'm like, there's no absolute way.
That's
Like,
because they are zombies. That's the whole point.
yeah, I guess if that's where it breaks out, but like, other than that, like, you're always like, ah, yeah, the military was quickly overtaken. I'm like, were they? Were they?
All right, number 5, ideal protection equals tight clothes and short hair.
Mm,
That reminds me of like the big Sakura moment in Naruto where she cuts her hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
I
Like
thought you said
know what I
soccer
mean?
moment. Like there was an episode of them playing soccer. I didn't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
That filler episode. You forgot.
I
about
get it. So like the zombies don't pull your hair.
Mm-hmm.
The tight close, so maybe you don't get like hooked on a fence or something, or they can't like grab you.
Pretty
But
much.
I don't know. I'd be willing like I'd be wearing pads and a helmet. You know.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. All right, number 6, get up the staircase, then destroy it.
Oh, that's smart.
I don't like that. Where are you gonna
That's
go?
smart.
Where are you gonna do if you run out of food? You're gonna like fall and break your leg on the second floor or third floor of a building? No, thank you.
As gruesome as it sounds, think about it though. Depending on
Yep,
how
you're gonna
high up
bleed
you
out
are,
and
no,
die.
think about how high up you are. Depending, you break that staircase, you survive up there as long as possible. A better death is to just jump off the building than to be eaten by zombies slowly.
No.
You don't think a quick, instantaneous death would be better
I
than
don't
getting
think
your
falling from the third floor
skin
of a
shredded open?
building is a quick death.
I think he's
okay?
talking more like a skyscraper or like a taller
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
and
running
you'll
to
probably
my
pass out on your way down anyways. Like you'll be
No.
fine.
No.
All right, number 7, get out of the car, get onto the bike.
Yeah, I don't know how I
Mm,
feel about that one. I mean,
I mean, if I have a full tank of gas and I'm in
right.
a car, I
Mhm.
can definitely kill a zombie with my car. I can't kill a zombie with my bike. This is definitely the guy that wrote World War Z because one of the big things in it is that they get on bicycles because it's
Yeah.
quieter
Oh,
than a
really?
car.
That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Because the World War Z zombies are triggered by noise.
Mm-hmm. And then plus 2,
Oh.
like I think the idea is that like the highways would be blocked off from like all
Oh,
the
from people,
stock
like,
cars or
mid
cars that ran out
dashing.
of gas. It'd be harder to traverse and you
Yeah.
could get stuck easier.
Thankfully, my Tesla charging stations will be operational.
All right, number 8, keep moving, keep low, keep quiet, keep alert. I think that's just like normal.
That's just a lot of things. Yeah.
Also,
Next one.
that's like the exact opposite of what Sam and I's strategy is of just hunkering down. Like, no.
All right, number 9, no place is safe. Wait, what? No place is safe, only safer? What?
Yes. So what that means is like your house isn't safe. Keep moving.
Oh,
Gotta go from
Oh,
location to
okay. I was
location.
just Englishing was not Englishing there.
No. I was right there with you, and then I realized what it meant. Like, no place is safe. Just
I always think that's the funniest
less
thing in Walking
dangerous.
Dead is that they get to a place and you're like, oh, cool. They've built this utopia where they have gardens now and they've built irrigation systems and like
Spoiler.
they're
Okay.
no. Yeah. So they've like built these like utopias and like they're actually starting to build society again. And then there's like one idiot that's like, what if I just drove my truck through the fence and let all the zombies in the middle of the night? Or, a rival faction comes and tries
Sure.
to like blow up your facility. Like it's always something
Mhm.
stupid. Just
All
let
It's
them
right.
live.
always the dumb humans, you know?
Our last
Yep.
one on this list of top 10 lessons for surviving a zombie attack, according to the
Mhm.
Zombie Survival Guide, is the
Yes.
zombie may be gone, but the threat lives on.
Oh, the virus is
Ooh.
already in us.
Or that human nature is really the real enemy after all.
Oh.
Yeah, but
See,
according to The
I
Walking
just
Dead,
love
we're
it.
already have the virus in us.
No. I like mine better.
Yours is too deep and poetic.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna
So
say, Steph?
So this book, I read this book when I was like in middle school and I was like
Fun.
obsessed because it tells you like all these different things. Like there's a thing for example like if there's an announcement and to preserve water because you don't know when the water shut up would or shut
Sure.
off would be, like fill up every single pot and pan with water before it runs out, fill up your bathtub, like it stuff like that where I was like, "Oh,
Sure.
I never would have thought about that without this book."
Right.
And so
That's
it was
really
just like all
funny.
these different things. It was a really fun book and I loved, absolutely loved as a kid coming up with different like zombie plan scenarios in my head.
Oh,
I
fun.
always, would think like, okay, I'm at my house right now. Like, what would I do if suddenly on the news they just announce like, hey, there's an outbreak, get to someplace
Sure.
safe. Like, I would genuinely sit there and think in my head, I would just sit down and just be like, okay, what would I do? First, I'd probably do this. Then I would do this. Like,
Mhm.
I would come up like on the spot and have a
That's
zombie
funny.
plan. And I've done that before where if I leave the house, say I'm at
Mhm.
like Walmart, I'm like, okay,
Sure.
where am I first going if they announce it? From here, like from this store. Like,
Right.
what am I grabbing? Where am I going? What do I do next?
If
I
you make it out in one piece.
Right,
exactly. But I mean, like,
exactly.
I would have those scenarios if I go different places. And even I will say, even in college and past, sometimes it's still
Sure.
that idea pops in my head where I'm just like, okay, what do I do if there are zombies? Like, what do I
I
do
thought
in
about that
this
in
moment?
college
Yeah.
because that was when I think that was when bath salts was happening, where
Oh,
like there's people
right.
like eating people
Yeah,
and being shot like 10 or 12 times and surviving it, and
that's
everyone's like,
Yeah.
this is
right.
the start of the zombie apocalypse. No, I think about that too, stuff. I remember in college thinking about it, but like every once in a while, like I'll sit at home and I'll be like, yeah, I would probably like just like hunker down in my basement, like board things up, block things off, and like try to survive as long as possible. Then I'm like I don't have the means to survive. Like, yeah, we have like a toilet in the basement and
Mhm.
water and stuff like that, technically, but like I don't have jugs of water or batteries or food. I don't have canned food or like preservatives or anything like that.
So you'd only be
Um,
able to live a certain amount in your house and then you'd have to flee basically.
Yeah, I
Right.
think we have like 6 tortillas left in the fridge, half a loaf of bread, some eggs.
Sure. But I also think that's a pro strat move though if there was actually a zombie apocalypse because like I feel like most of the people are going to die in like the first week or so. 7 days to die is called 7 days to die for a reason.
Mhm.
and, and then like you could probably leave from your like initial hunkering down and then just keep moving from place to place. I
Makes
think that's the
sense.
ideal strategy.
I think a a whole bunch depends on what the type of zombies they are. Are they going to be like mindless, slow walking in a circle? Like
True.
so, zombies exist in nature, in
Sure.
different
Yeah.
animals and bugs. There's parasites that will take over the mind, and a lot of bugs will experience this, and they'll just like walk in circles.
Mhm.
Um, but there's sometimes in I think like insects, like bees and
Y'all
stuff
watch
like
The
that.
Last of Us, Sam, okay?
I'm not talking about plants in bees and everything. There's a like a virus or something that will cause them to like attack the other bees and like start eating them, which they don't normally do. So
Mhm.
like it exists in
Sure.
nature.
Nature.
So it's like, would zombies technically want to eat human flesh? Would they just walk in circles? Would they have super speed and climb each other like in World War Z?
Yeah, who
you know
knows?
what's would they be smart enough to like have weapons?
I guess it
But
just depends on what the bacteria or virus hijacks
So that
and
was
why.
actually one of my points that I brought up is like the
Really?
concept of slow versus fast zombies.
Oh, fun. I hope it's slow.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely
I
slow.
think if anyone was talking about in terms of survival, a slow zombie is what you kind of want to,
Exactly.
increase your likeliness of surviving.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah,
I
I
do
think
think a fast zombie brings a lot of freaking suspense.
Oh, for sure.
Or like
Definitely a better movie experience
I
for
will
sure.
say I do like the concept of zombies where they are slow moving, but and you have to
Mhm.
be quiet. But then when they hear a noise, then they start to pick up the pace. Maybe it's not necessarily like sprinting, but that
Sure.
just like hurried, like almost I don't know, just like speeding it up, and then it's like, oh
Right.
man, like gotta get
It's
out of
got that
here.
oh shit factor, you know?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
do you think they would be? Do you think I don't want to steal your spotlight stuff,
Oh, you're
but
good.
like, do you think zombies would be more singular or more mob mentality? Because a lot of times in zombie
Oh.
movies, they team up and they get into
Uh-huh.
big mobs, and that's how people die. Like,
I'm
if
pro
they're all
mob.
just wandering individually, like, yeah, you
I
could
think
easily take that
realistic.
out.
I not to be like, oh yeah,
Sure.
realistically about zombies. But I
Right.
think that if there was one to happen, I feel like, and if we are going with the decay, I think they'll be slow. They might be fast initially, like if a
Sure.
person just turns. If they like
Right.
just turn into a zombie, they might be faster because their, skin and muscle hasn't like started decomposing right
Sure.
away. And that would be the danger. Is someone who's a freshly turned zombie compared to someone who may have not have eaten a brain or flesh or whatever, eaten you. I don't know.
Maybe
Go ahead.
blood is poison because, there's metals and stuff in our blood. So the more you consume, the slower you get. I don't know.
Ooh.
Well, that's like in World War Z. Back to that. Um, in the movie, at least, I think it's the same in the book. The
Sure.
like main character kills a zombie and he gets like some of their blood in his mouth, and he counts to 10
Mhm.
to make sure he doesn't turn, and he
Mm.
Sure.
doesn't. So he realizes it's direct contact, like from a bite or a scratch. It's not
Mhm.
like blood, which
Oh.
I thought was weird. Like, but I guess if you swallow blood, it's not like it's going in your bloodstream,
Yeah.
So,
No.
um, but like I wonder. I don't know the rate of decay for a human being, and I don't want to Google that because I don't want to be on a list. But like,
I think
I
it's a
assume
month thing,
humans
not a
decay
year.
fairly quick.
Yeah. It's not like a days, it's a months sort of a thing. If that makes
Um,
sense?
yeah, I mean, I assume like at the very most like 5 years, but at that point, like
Yeah.
muscle starts breaking down sooner than that. So like
Mhm.
they muscles to walk, and like
Mhm.
your brain as an organ that's gonna deteriorate. Like the things that make zombies zombies would deteriorate so fast, and like I don't think they'd be able to spread as quickly as they do in zombie movies. I don't think it'd be an actual threat because like I said, I think the military would step in, and all the hillbillies out there with like guns and
Sure.
machetes, and the preppers
They're
that are
all
like prepared
zombies,
for this
though.
stuff.
All of them.
Oh, if all the preppers turn to zombies, you're screwed.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just like that concept of slow versus fast. But I know
Yeah.
we talked about a couple things like we talked about World War Z. We talked about what was the 7 weeks or 7 day. What was it you said?
7 days to die,
7 days
yeah.
to
7 days
die.
to
Yeah.
die. So what is the best universe for zombies? Or what's your favorite? What's
Oh,
the best zombie universe that you've seen in media? Or what's like your
Sure.
favorite
Hot
depiction?
take. I love you, Steph, but I'm not a huge fan of the zombies genre. It's just,
Dang.
it's not my cup of tea, but that's fine. Like,
do you have one though, Larissa?
probably because it's the most recent one I've seen and the most well done version of it would be The Last of Us because it feels the most realistic.
Hmm.
Where like, okay, yeah, like there's some like bacteria in what was it, wheat, I guess, in the
Yeah,
actual yeah. Because I know it's a little bit different in the games.
Hmm.
right.
And yeah, that makes sense that like, okay, people eat a bunch of food and we don't find out until way later. I mean, food gets recalled all the time. I literally just heard about a pork recall on the way home from
Oh
work
goodness.
again. Yeah. So be careful if you got some meat recently. Just, keep an eye on it.
Okay.
But like yeah, like we don't know until it's too late and it's already happened. I mean, we lived through a pandemic. Like we know how silly people are. We know how selfish people can be. Like, yeah.
Yeah, when you go to the grocery store and like not only toilet paper is a weird thing that everybody's going after and buying up, but grape jelly. I remember I could not find grape jelly for like weeks, and I was so mad. I'm like,
Right.
why
That's so
that?
specific.
Um,
Oh wait, but I wasn't done yet, Sam.
okay, whatever.
Just real quick. But other than that, I do really like the dynamics between not necessarily the zombies. I like how all of the like regular non-infected humans are interacting with each other and trying
Hmm.
to figure out, okay, this has happened, how do we move on, and just everyone sort of like rash decisions of like based off out of fear and survival. Like, what are
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
gonna
Like
do?
it's
So
high stakes. It's so much tension.
yeah. But it's even like years after the fact. That's what I think I like the most about The Last of Us is like, yeah, you get like the first half of the episode is like, okay, this is the outbreak. But what we're actually interested in is what happened like 5 years later. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's fascinating.
Sam?
Okay. I have a top 3. Does that count?
Oh, okay, yeah, let's hear
Sure.
it.
So they're all video game based, which I
That's
know
fair.
it's silly. Um, but obviously my all-time favorite is Call of Duty Zombies, specifically Black Ops
Oh,
2.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a fun, like, expansive universe
Is
of
that the
zombies.
80s one?
No, that's Black Ops 3, I believe.
Okay, that
Um,
one's my favorite one to watch whenever you guys
yeah.
play it.
Anyway, so there's different, like, versions of it. Like, it goes back all the way to World War II, and then it, like, somehow, like, the Knights Templar are involved, and then it's
What?
futuristic,
Yeah.
and it takes place in the 80s, and it's all this wild stuff. It's a whole long storyline. I also really really like Left 4 Dead. Um,
Yeah.
Wow,
Left
that's
4 Dead is a very
cool.
fun game. Um, and just the concept of it, it's just like you run from one place to the next to try to get to the next secure place, and they're just constantly chasing you. But you can be quiet and they won't come after you. But then there's different types of zombies, like bloaters and
Spitter.
screamers and spitter, yep, and all
Uh-huh.
this other stuff. And then I think, like, my absolute favorite is probably Dead Island.
I've never
Okay.
heard of that.
I
I
I've heard of it, but I've not seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it's a older video game. I think they, like, re-released it on the PS4 at some point. There's, I think, one that released in 2023, but I had it on the Xbox 360. And essentially, it's like you're on vacation, and you always think, like, in a zombie movie, like, oh, a an island would be like the safest place because it's always going to break out, like, on a mainland. But this island resort is where it breaks out, and so, like, as you're, like,
Oh.
running through the game, like, you have to, like, break into people's luggage and go through the hotels and find stuff, and there's, like, the zombies are, like, hanging out in the pools at certain points and stuff, and it's really fun because you have to, like, team up with people and build things. I don't know, I always like all the zombie video games.
So you're
No, it
you're
sounds
more
fun.
of a fan of the games, or so you're more a fan of like the TV series,
I wouldn't say TV series. I just think I like the human aspect of the zombie story
more
and like
so
the
than the
more
actual zombie content.
right and like the relationships dynamic and how do people handle these situations and
That's
yeah.
fair.
hmm
I
I'm
my
here for the plot, I guess I should say.
That's fair. I really liked Train to Busan when I saw it.
Oh, I
That's fair.
completely forgot Train to Busan. That's such a good movie.
I think in South Korea they did a really good job putting like an actual like I don't know, they just did something so unique and different with it. Like being in a train. It's like such a, you know, compressed space. And like there's not a
Right.
lot of space and to survive
That's
that
true.
and then they're trying to go from city to city but the outbreaks just everywhere. Like it was so high, what's the word, like high
Stakes.
stakes, and like there was so much tension and I really did not know what was going to happen next the
Sure.
whole time, and it was a really good movie. And I like
Yeah,
seeing zombies done from a different country's point of view as well, just kind of
I was
their
just gonna say
take
that.
on that. So that was a really good series. But I think in
Oh,
terms of video games, I do really like the Telltale Walking Dead because I do like that
Yeah.
the player is in charge of making such difficult decisions. I
Mhm.
mean, I remember too, like back in, oh God, when was it? Like 2013, 2012,
It's a
when like
while ago,
those
yeah.
let's plays are huge and you would watch these big like creators like making these difficult choices and sometimes they just sit there for 15 minutes because they just were like I can't choose.
Right, because you get
right.
attached to the characters
Uh-huh.
and you're like, "Oh my goodness, no, someone has to die here."
Right, so I really like that.
Speaking of movies, like, I always forget about, like, the comedy ones. Like, I really liked
Sure.
Zombieland, and I really liked Shaun of the Dead. I think
Zombieland is so
making
good.
zombies as a comedy, or more fun thing is always good.
Mhm.
Like, not making it super serious.
Sure.
But then, like, you have the classics like Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
which, I mean, I think they created the genre and stuff like that, but I'm not a super fan of. But, like, one of my absolute all-time favorite zombie movies is Dead Snow because it's a zombie comedy and it's really funny.
I feel
What?
like
Man, now
Tell me
that
more.
I feel like I've maybe seen that. Now I need to like
you might have watched it with us in college with a couple of our
maybe
friends,
it
because we
must
watched
be.
Dead Snow and Dead Snow 2. It's Dead Snow 1 is these group of friends that go up into a cabin out in the middle of like nowhere. I don't know if what country. I think it's in. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I know it takes place in Germany, so I don't know if that's where the cabin is, because
Oh,
it's Nazi zombies,
Yeah. It
which is
looks
Call of Duty's
familiar.
based off of,
sure.
and it's just super goofy, and super silly. Like in the second one, the zombies like have a tank and they're like shooting stuff. Like it just doesn't make
Oh
any
my
sense, but
goodness.
Yeah. I also, like I said, I did mention this earlier, but like the zombie genre that I love in fan fiction is when you take like two characters from a
Right.
series and you throw them into like a zombie apocalypse world, which is so good. And like there's different like little tropes, right, that I love where it's like
Right.
this goes in video games, it goes throughout, movies and whatever, and video game, I already said that. Whatever. But like it's the fact where one person, and maybe this person has feelings for someone else, right? But the one
Mhm.
person will either save that person and get bit and hide it, or like
Right.
they expose the bite and then they're both like trying to decide what to do in that
I
moment. Oh my
know.
god.
It's
that's the
so
worst,
heartbreaking.
absolute worst.
Dude, but
That
the
was
Is
a
when somebody hides a
emotion,
bite.
the
I
emotion from
know.
hiding a bite or something like that,
I
it's like, oh
know.
god, because like the audience knows what's happening, but like, the
Right.
characters don't. So there's the tension. It's just
Right.
so good.
I know.
I
the
just love
best
it.
the best scenario of hiding a bite that I've seen is in Walking Dead. Actually, I think the character's name is Bob, and the evil group that's big in this season is there's a group of cannibals
Hmm.
that
Sure.
like kill and eat people, and so they capture him, and there's like he like passed out and he wakes up and his like legs missing, and they're eating it like by a campfire, and he's like freaking out, but then he starts laughing maniacally. He's like, you guys are a bunch of idiots. He's like, look, and he like pulls down his sleeve and he has a huge bite mark,
That's
and so
really
they
funny,
like
Oh,
eat
actually.
the tainted meat and stuff.
Right.
So
wow.
yeah.
I was just gonna say about that trope of like hiding the bite. I really, not to bring it back to The Last of Us, but like the moment when Ellie and her friend are in the mall and they're finally having fun for the first time in their life, like ever, because they were like born after the zombie outbreak, so they don't know what a normal life
Hmm.
is. And then all of a sudden, like you find out that the only person that this person has ever cared about in her entire life is got bit. Oh,
Hmm.
heartbreaking. And like,
Right.
Yeah.
unless you played the games, like you have no idea until Ellie figures it out, and you're like, oh shoot.
The other trope to go off the bite is the secret didn't know they were immune. So like
Oh
I love that
yeah.
twist too, where it's like sometimes, yeah, someone does get bit and both people see it or the group sees it, and then it's like all tearful and you're waiting and you're counting down and you're counting down till this person turns and then they don't. And then it's like, then
Yeah.
what's happening? Like then there's confusion and it turns out
Take
they're
them
like
to the
immune.
CDC. They're the cure.
Right? But I love that too, where
Right.
it's like the tension of just like they're sitting there
Mhm.
waiting for their friend or whoever the group member to
Right.
die, and then it's not happening. So then it turns to confusion.
I
I just love that.
know.
There's so many possibilities with it with
I
storytelling, and I just
know.
love every part of it.
I know. And that's also the heartbreaking part about that scene with Ellie is that like she is immune, and
Hmm.
so she has to make the choice to kill her crush.
Yeah, that's what you said, Ellie, and it just
Ah,
reminded me of like the immunity thing as well, which I love.
it's so hard.
It's bonkers.
But I do.
Sorry, spoilers,
Oh, you're
guys.
good. Okay. But the other thing is yeah, kind of like what you said, where there's like children who never knew the
Mhm.
world before zombies. And I always think that's a
Right.
fascinating thing where you have like, say for example, in these universes where children are passed along to just different caretakers who are willing
Right.
to risk their lives for children where other people might not have that humanity left in them. So it's just
Right.
like, oh man, where it's like, some adult might be starving so they could give the
Sure.
kid more food, and I'm like, oh god.
Mhm.
Or
I
the
know.
worst, sorry, and this one just popped in my head, the
No, you're
worst is
good.
like the suspense where they have like a room but you can't, like the door's locked, but then they shove the
Right.
kid through like a grate to go into the room. Oh,
Oh
Ah,
like to
yeah.
unlock
Yep.
the door.
Yep.
Oh my god,
sure.
it's so
Yep.
suspenseful. It gets me every time.
And they
And
always get it unlocked just at the last second.
they
Love it though. Love
do.
it. That cliche. Love it though.
Mhm. And I do think it's fascinating because like zombie apocalypses is just this case scenario of like, how are humans going to survive this? And like, one fascinating way that like humans cope with things, and it does happen in real life, is like they turn to like cults. And oh man, that is fascinating. Like, that would definitely happen if a zombie outbreak occurred right now. Like, someone would be like, hey, I'm the savior. I know how to fix this
Oh
problem.
yeah, I could see that 100%.
Oh yeah, group. I mean, it becomes mob mentality, and people want
Mm-hmm.
like leadership. They want somebody to follow and to like tell them where to go and what to do. It's
Yeah.
always interesting.
Well, that was pretty much all I had, unless you guys wanted to add anything else about the zombie world.
No, I think it's just now that you mention it, I'm like, dang. I guess I'm a lot more into zombies than I thought I was. It's not like a hobby of mine, and I don't have a lot of zombie like
Sure.
media or like paraphernalia or anything like that. I don't
Sure.
have any.
You're not a connoisseur of zombies.
No, but now that I'm like looking at the movies, I was like, man, there's a lot of good zombie movies I really like out there.
Mhm. It's just one of those genres that I feel like it was way more popular earlier, a couple like
Sure.
years ago. But I think there just hasn't been any big like zombie things recently with media, so it might feel
No.
like a little more, I guess, like
I
forgotten of a genre in a way.
Yeah, I think Twilight kind of like stole some of its thunder, the whole like renaissance of vampires and werewolves.
That's fair.
I feel like that happened around the same time where like people are like, I'm kind of done with zombies, but these vampires, they're hot and there's still blood involved.
I think
I'm
Last
gonna
of
get down with
Us,
that.
the TV show with what was it,
Mhm.
Pedro Pascal, that was a
Yeah,
pretty big comeback, I think,
for sure,
for a
absolutely.
little
But that
bit,
was
and then it
also
died off again.
yeah, well, because it reminded people too much of the pandemic.
That's
I mean,
fair.
who wants to think about
That's
that?
that's true.
That's probably why it hasn't come back in a full resurgence, because people are kind of like tired of it. They want to think about things that are happier, not necessarily things that remind them of like
A
something that happened a
pandemic,
couple
yeah,
years ago.
that's fair. I could
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But I
I
still
also
just love it.
I
No,
think
it's
people
good.
also want like a different take on it. So like having a
Yeah.
refreshing different take of it, like The Last of
I
Us in TV form, besides
got
just
it.
your standard zombies.
People are obsessed with cults right now, so we need to bring back more cult zombies.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cult zombies. Yeah. What about the zombies are smart enough to like start convincing the people to become zombies?
Oh, so it's
Like an
like,
MLM?
well, kind of like you drink this, like kind of like an occult thingy, right? But you drink
No, no,
this
like
or
the
no?
zombies for some reason in my write this down
In my
somebody
AU.
yeah, trademark this. This is a script for a movie I'm working on right now.
Sure,
Um
sure.
so in this the zombies are actually highly intelligent. Like they keep their brain function. Like they just crave human flesh and
No,
they
no, no,
want to
no, no,
turn other
no,
zombies. Listen to me. I'm not
no,
done
no, look,
talking. This is
no,
so good.
I know,
No,
I know.
no, wait until I'm done talking for the love of God.
Sorry.
Okay, so in my story, so the zombies are highly intelligent and they crave like human flesh and they crave the concept of wanting to spread it and like turn people into zombies. Like they don't decay maybe,
Okay.
but
So
they like
vampires?
yes, but not vampires because like they do want to eat people, but they also want to turn people. So it's like a hard struggle of like, oh, should we eat this guy or should we like convince him to join our cause and stuff like that. Um yeah,
Vampires.
better than vampires. No, better than vampires. Okay, now Larissa, you can have the floor. Thank you for interrupting.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, because you brought up the whole thing of natures of like a virus hijacking like a bee or a parasite or whatever. I don't think it's the host that necessarily is the intelligence. I think it should be the parasite. And then like for whatever reason, like maybe it's just aliens or something, like an alien parasite. And like they're the intelligent people and they have to like convince other humans to be like, hey, it'd be an honor to let me be a host. Like
No, mine's better.
And
you know what I'm
see, but
saying?
that's so funny you talk about aliens, because that's like a genre where I have no interest in. Like I loved zombies, but aliens, I'm like,
That's
eh.
really funny to me.
I get it. They're
Yeah.
different.
All right. Well,
Okay.
if we don't have anything else to add, that was it. I just got to geek about zombies the whole
Yeah,
time
that was
with
fun.
my two lovely co-hosts here. That was a lovely discussion. Thank you for indulging in some zombie talk with me. I do appreciate it. And I loved that you guys got to know a little more about me and my love for zombies and
Yeah.
zombie AU,
Woohoo.
and zombie culture, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Thank
if
you.
you, the listeners, enjoyed our little zombie talk, then go ahead and mosey on way or shuffle or run towards our social media. I don't know how I was trying to like tie that in with zombie stuff, but let's run,
Bike over there.
bike over there.
Yeah.
Bike on over to our social media pages. We are at Shifting Tones Pod. And if you have been liking our podcast, because we have been doing it, pretty consistently, rate us
Mhm.
on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, even give us a like on YouTube. We're featured there as well. But yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, you can find us at Shifting Tones Pod. For us individual hosts, you can find me at Spiffy Steffi. You can find Larissa at larissa.schaefer. And you can find Sam at Sir Captain Sam on all social media platforms. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Brains.